live in here today. Today I'm just doing a little bit of straightening up. This morning I got on there and I threw out a video, a short. Been doing a couple of recordings and I plan to continue to push those out. That's a series that I've really been working on a whole lot. I put it originally on Instagram. It was pretty good, but a lot of work just started happening. I just started getting sidetracked. We back though. I hope you all are having a wonderful day. I know I am. I'm working on getting a couple of last minute gifts out for Christmas, sending them out. You know how that goes. All right, and I have just a list of stuff that I have to get done today. But let's talk a little bit about this plant care a little bit, if you may. I'm gonna have me a seat. If you all have any questions or anything, please put them in, okay? Put them down there in the comment. Today, what I would like to do is go a little bit of plant shopping if I get a little bit of time, if time permits. I plan to go to the post office, drop some stuff off, and run to the nursery. I'm not in a need of needing a plant. I have no particular plant that I'm looking for. I just wanted to get out and see what's going on. Okay. So yesterday we talked a little bit about my red emerald. And I was mentioning to you that this plant is going to need a moss pole. So what we're going to be doing today is installing a moss pole on here. All right, so these right here, this is the moss pole that I'm going to be using for the addition. Now you can get several type of moss poles. I get this moss pole particularly from Amazon. If you're ever interested, I have a link. I don't know if it's on my YouTube, but I have a link if you go to my Instagram and you can see all the stuff that I buy for my plant room. I always link it and put it in here. So when you're doing your moss pole, you can do different type of moss poles. You can put whatever you want to in here. You can put soil in here or you can put moss. Today, I am going to continue using moss. Reason being, I already use moss to start with, and why change things? So let me show you this. This right here is a container. It has my cutters in here. I keep a little bit of everything in here. Let's slide you back just a tad bit. I keep a little bit of everything in here. I'm a big fan. Go ahead, Jamie. Hey, how you doing? I hope you're doing great. I know it's around lunchtime, so maybe you're on break, hopefully, or you may be at the house. So nice to see you. It's nice to see some people. I'm telling you, when I go and post videos, I see likes and comments. It's nice to really be able to socialize and talk to you all. What I'm going to be doing is filling my moss pole up. This consists of perlite and sphagnum moss. Now, you can get the sphagnum moss from your big box store, but when it comes to the perlite, I wouldn't recommend you get that from the big box store. Definitely order it from Amazon. You see this perlite right here, how big it is? You can't get that in store, so you're gonna have to order online. The bigger the perlite, the better the drainage. I definitely recommend you do that. You're looking at, when the box comes, the box is gonna be it's gonna be about this wide, and it's gonna be about this tall. It'll run you about $35, but let me tell you, I order one box like every year, just about. Like the box that I ordered early this year, I still have a little bit of it left. So now what I'm going to go ahead and do, let's see here. I'm gonna point the camera down a tad bit just so you can see it here. Okay. Now what I'm going to go ahead and do is start filling this up. Now you can fill from the bottom and work your way up. I just find it a little bit easier to do it this way. Now, us filling this up and creating moss poles allows our nodes that's on the back of these plants to be able to attach to something, and that's going to be able to form its own root system. So that way when you get ready to do any type of repotting, you already have your root system going. A lot of times when we do propagating, we like to use water. Nothing's wrong with water, but sometimes you just want to go ahead and just get straight to it. Latoya Evans, hello, I speak Korean. That is great. I do not. And if you try to talk to me in it, I wouldn't know what to say. I'm glad that you're here, though, and I hope you're doing a great day. Your boy Fizz, hey, what's going on? I'm not doing too much. I'm sitting here talking about how to make a moss pole. This moss pole has a lot more perlite in it than moss, and we don't want that. Now, the thing is, when you're making your moss pole, don't fill your moss pole up with so much moss unless you have enough plant to go there. Reason being, when you get ready to water it, the water is going to absorb, of course, the moss is going to absorb the water. And what's going to happen is you're going to end up having a whole moss pole. If you fill this whole thing up with moss pole, you're going to end up having to water this whole thing. Because if you only water the spot that you have your plant at, it's still going to suck it up. So what you do is only put enough moss where the particular plant is at. Now, what I'm going to do, this is already bent at the tip. So we're going to turn here. And we're going to drop. It can get messy, that's okay. Ben, now you tell me, okay, what tips? All right, so here we go. We're gonna put this here and make sure when you get ready to tie your moss pole or tie your plant against your moss pole, your fizzboard melon. You definitely want to make sure that your nodes is able to go into there. That makes a big difference. I would hate for you to strap it up against the plant, against the plastic that's inside of here, and then it has to work its way around. We want to make sure the plant doesn't have to do a lot of work so we can guarantee success. So what you want to do, you can have you can do several things with this. Of course, we could leave it like this, but I like to go ahead and attach things and make sure that we're good to go. So this is my absolute favorite to use. You can get this from Amazon, okay? It's Velcro. You can attach and reattach. You can use this a lot. I can buy a roll. You can buy these in like a 2-pack or a 4-pack. You get you a 4-pack, it probably lasts you about 2 years, and it's really good on the cost part. So you stretch this out for as much as you need, and remember, if you take too much off, you can always will it in. Now, what we're going to do is turn it to the soft side. We have a hard side right here, and we have a soft side. We want to make sure the soft side hits the plant. Put it in here. Hang there. Now, you want to have yourself some scissors or some trimmers, whatever you want to use, just to be able to cut the excess piece off. All right, now, I'm gonna show you. This is how we're looking right here. Now, I don't like the fact that we have a little bit coming out of here, but we're not gonna have to worry about that for so much. Is this a heart leaf? No, this is not a heart leaf. This is a philodendron red emerald. Right here. You can always tell a philodendron because they do have that heart shape, so you was not far off, okay? And here we go. The next thing you want to do is get you a little bit of water, and you can water it. Your boy Fizz. My plants keeps dying because rabbits and snow. I don't know what to cover it with. I could not tell you that. I don't have a lot of outdoor plants that I keep all year round. I do have some Fasias, F-A-T-S-I-A. You can look those up. They are primarily from Florida, and they can grow outside basically through anything. I threw them outside, and they went through 3 or 4 different snowstorms, 20-degree weather for weeks, so they are pretty hardy plants. Came back over the spring and summertime and really done its thing, so I'm a believer with them. The funny thing about it, they grew outside in that type of condition, but I couldn't get them to grow inside the house for nothing. So we will see. But as you can tell, this right here, this is the work that's done. Does it look the best? No. And can you come in here and cut down the moss pole? Absolutely. And then you can just attach it as it goes. For right now, I just wanted to get this plant on this moss pole so that way it has some type of confidence to it. Now, still, this right here is going to be something that I'm going to need to get to as well. For right now, we're going to let it go because I want to focus on a few other things. Now, sphagnum moss. When you go to the store to buy your sphagnum moss, Usually they only have 1 or 2 brands. I'm gonna show you what it looks like. Right here. You can get these from Home Depot or Lowe's depending on the brand, but this is what you want to go with, sphagnum moss. This sphagnum moss mixed in with perlite is going to be really good for any type of propagating that you want to do, okay? And I do apologize. I'm so used to my camera screen being that way. I know I keep looking over there. Sorry, hopefully it's not throwing you off. Oh, I have it. If you have this, this is some good stuff, okay? You can make some miracles happen with this. Now, earlier today on my video, I was talking about yellowing leaves. Yellow leaves, they come from when, of course, your plant could have a little bit of age on it, or you could be dealing with some type of watering or pest issues. Mine is just dealing with a little bit of stress. I relocated this plant from all on the other side of the room to over here, and really it's one of those forgettable plants. Sometimes you get plants and they just don't do what it is that you expect them to do. It doesn't mean that they're ugly or anything like that. It just means that maybe the expectation that you have for them, they just aren't living up to them. Can we propagate seeds also with this help? Seeds, I would not recommend that. Seeds, I would just go to the store, buy those little trays. It's like 30 trays. Put your little bit of soil, put your seeds in there, put the lid over it to cover it, and then make sure you get you something like a heating mat. A heating mat works really good if you're starting plants all the way from seeds. Keep an eye on it and make sure the humidity on them is pretty good. You're looking at a 70 to 80% humidity rate. How do you know that? As long as the plant is staying warm, make sure you're careful with your heat mat. I wouldn't recommend you leave it on when you're gone from the house because anything can happen. Just place your plant on there and go from there. But no, do not put it in the sphagnum moss. I wouldn't recommend it. Anybody traveling or going anywhere for the holiday? Thank you very much. You're welcome. You're welcome. Anybody doing any type of traveling or anything? I thought I wasn't going nowhere, and then come to find out I am at the last minute, but it is what it is. Now, I want to show you, I've been growing an apple tree, and it's starting to sprout, and I use that soil to grow it. Okay. Apple tree, you have some patience. That's what I'm talking about. I really want to get more into the outdoor scenes. I did start a little bit this year. I started with my garden outside, and I did pretty good with it. I did get some tomatoes, some bell peppers, the spearmint, or not spearmint, let's just say spearmint. It's one of those in the mint. That went absolutely crazy. It basically took over the place. My dad told me that was going to happen, but I was like, whatever. So I did experiment with that. Now, the other day, somebody was in here telling me that they're growing vegetables and stuff inside the house. And I was saying, hey, if you have any recommendations on growing fruits and vegetables inside the house, let me know, because I'm definitely interested in giving that a try as well. Another plant that I want to talk to you about is going to be my Philodendron plumati. I know I talk a little bit about when you first buy plants, being able to know what kind of plant it is that you have so you can properly care for it. Well, this is my third time around with this plant. Yes, I buy plants all the time, and sometimes they do die. And it could be a numerous of things, but if I'm gonna keep it all the way hot with you, besides the fact of genetics really messing up the plant, a lot of times we just didn't do our proper research for it, and we're the reason why it failed. We don't give it enough light. Maybe we put it in the wrong soil. We don't rotate it if it's a plant that needs to be rotated. We forget about it. It gets bumped. It's just several things coming to it. So always make sure that you are paying attention to your new plants. Now, your older plants, you still have to pay attention to them, but depending on how long you've had them, you know how they can acclimate. I don't have many plants inside because I have 2 cats that eat anything. Let me tell you what to do with that. So I went over to my aunt's house, well, my uncle and my aunt's house for Thanksgiving, and she had all this aluminum foil inside the bottom of her pot. And I was like, what's going on here? She said that aluminum foil keeps the cats out of your plants. So if you do ever want to grow a little bit more plants and you're worried about the cats, put you some aluminum foil down there. You just put it right down here at the base. I think it's something about the reflection or maybe the noise or whatever it is. It stops them from doing it. I know a lot of people who lose their plants over cats peeing in it. But that's one of the things she went with. So yeah, so this right here is going to be a huge plant. This is also going to be a crawling plant. I don't know if you know the difference between a plant that grows straight up or a crawler. A climber or a crawler. Let me phrase it like that. I didn't know plants could do so many different things. You know, I'm a little naive. I thought a plant inside the house just goes in a pot and that's how it goes. Slowly but surely, I found out there are climbers and then there's crawlers. So crawlers, the way that they grow is you need to have them in an elongated pot. A pot around about this length right here. Something because when it grows against the soil and it produces these leaves. This plant right here, the way that it likes to grow is sideways. So this plant won't particularly grow up unless, of course, it's getting bigger, getting older, and we get more leaves and more stems. This plant in particular would like to grow across. So hopefully, as this plant continues to mature, continues to grow, I'll be able to control it because these plants can be very delicate as well. When you go to the store and you just buy a plant, do not instantly repot it. That was what I did. I went to the store, bought a bigger Philodendron gloriousum that I have upstairs, and I didn't really take into consideration of it being a crawling plant, and I just placed it immediately back into a deeper container. It's a personal choice. You will not kill the plant if you decide to put your crawling plant, your plant that grows sideways, into a pot that grows up and down. But your plant will not thrive. And that's the last thing that anybody wants is a plant that's not going to thrive or do good. So when they say crawler, that just means that the plant is going to crawl sideways, okay? If it's a climber, it's going to grow up. Most climbing plants, they do need some type of support. We talked about supports being something like moss poles. You can use stakes. People use trellis. Whatever you want to use. You want to use a stick of bamboo and some gum. That's up to you. Whatever's going to get the plant to be able to have that support. That's what you want. Now, I would say you have to just be patient when you are experimenting with new plants when you buy them. Don't put this unrealistic expectation that you're going to get everything right on the first try. Do we want everything to go right on the first try? Absolutely. But there is a chance that some things you may not know or some things you may have overlooked. That's why you have to be careful when you go into the store and you're buying off the clearance rack unless you're prepared for it. A clearance rack is a sure way for you to lose confidence in yourself, okay? Those plants have already been, no telling what the employees and stuff have done to it. How many times have you gone to a store and you see a plant just sitting there completely soaking wet? Leaves just curled up, everything is just wrong. Not every person who works in the plant section actually care about plants or are knowledgeable about it. Therefore, their care for those plants is absolutely terrible. You go in there just because it's on sale and you try to clean it up and you end up completely frustrated. And then please don't forget about the other plants that you actually have while you're trying to care for that one. But I go to show you this plant because I wanted just to show you and tell you things happen. Took me 3 times to get it right, and if that plant dies, I'm gonna go back and buy it again, okay? Some plants, I just want to get it right because I just absolutely love it. Now, if it's a plant that really just gets on my nerves that I just can't stand, plants are supposed to bring you peace, not problems, so the plant gotta go. Give it away. If it just slowly dies away, whatever it is that you have to do, okay? But yeah. What I'm going to go ahead and do now is do a walk around in the room. This is going to be time for you all to ask any questions that you have. I buy a lot of seeds. I got all green tree seeds and a Zunki that's growing in my kitchen. Whiten the green tree and I put Christmas lights on it. Oh, wow. You are really growing. Where are you from? If you don't mind me asking. You don't have to give your state or anything. You from north, south, east, west? I'm curious. I like the fact that you're growing a lot of trees. Do you know anything about bushes? Okay, because I want to grow some bushes that can get up to about 5 feet in height that are really nice and green. And I wouldn't mind if they bloom. I know some bushes can bloom flowers. I do love the way a gardenia smells, that honey smell. Really nice. Hold on a minute. I saw another question in here. U.S. Massachusetts. Okay. Oh, you don't know? Wow. Okay, you're really talented then. All right, that's pretty cool. All right, trying to move some of these lights so that way when we go through the room, it's going to be an easy get around. And we always start over here on the right. How about today we start over here on the left with the monsteras? All right. So our monstera over here, they are doing pretty good. As you can see, there is a window that can shine over here. And it's not the best of light that they get. That's why we have this grow light. Now, this grow light runs 10 hours a day. It usually comes on around 2 o'clock p.m. and it doesn't go off around midnight. Now, I just did a repot on this monstera yesterday. And I was going to do it on live, but I wanted to be able to record the video so that way I could share with you. And I did. I got a good recording on everything that I did, what to look out for as well. And monsteras are also crawlers. They like to crawl across the soil too. That's something I just found out. This right here is my Monstera statulona. I believe we talked about this before, but this was a Father's Day gift. Okay, your boy Fizz. You grow azaleas, rhododendrons, camellias, vibrans, and halle varieties and some bushes. Okay, I can get with that. I love some azaleas. My grandmother was a huge fan of azaleas. Pink, white, and do they come in purple? I feel like she had a purple one. If not, I might be fibbing, but she definitely had some white and pink ones, and she had some purple something. I don't know what that was. And hostages. Oh, she loves some hostages. All right, so this right here is my Monstera Thai Constellation. I am so proud of this plant here. These three right here are a big box purchase that I bought these plants for $29 a piece. Of course, it was a lot smaller than this, but look at them. They are going to take over. And we was talking about space in this room on how I can't really buy any more plants to put inside of this room because for space, they're going to be fighting. And I'm already moving plants out left and right as they get bigger. So adding plants to the room just isn't the goal. However, I'm never going to turn down a good plant. Now, let's get into over here. This is my philodendron orange marmalade. It does eventually transition to that green color there, but when that bloom first comes in, look at that. Isn't it beautiful? It's like a burnt orange red. I can show you the leaves right there. It's crazy how that happens, and then boom. This right here is my philodendron burrow mark, sorry. This right here, I believe, is actually 2, maybe 3 plants that have been combined. I bought this plant from Home Depot, and when I did the repot on this plant, I just took everything out and dropped it in there. It's about time for a repot for this plant, but I should be able to push it off for another 2, maybe 3, 4 months. We talked about caramel marble yesterday, and this is, I don't believe I showed you this one right here. This right here is the majestic, philodendron majestic. That just unfurled the other day. Now, we was talking a little bit about rootstock, especially with your philodendron, with leaf stuck with your philodendron. Sometimes it's okay to spray a little bit of water and get you some Q-tip and pop those open if that's what you have to do. Oh my goodness, look over here. Now that is new. That just unfurled. This is my philodendron white knight, and I believe the one we're looking at is the Japanese white knight, if I'm not mistaken. I got 2 of them. One is just a white knight. The other one is a Japanese white knight. I still don't fully know the difference, other than I noticed that the stem does carry more of a burgundy-ish color versus more of a green color with our original. And this right here is the shake. Now, one plant I did not talk about yesterday was our Madridians. Now, these right here, I mistakenly bought it thinking that it was a monstera, but they can grow just like monsteras, okay? You give them that nice chunky mix, but add in a little bit more indoor pot mix. That does allow a little bit of water retention, and this plant does like that. It is not a fast grower, okay? It's a slow grower, so you have to be patient with it. But with leaves looking like this, I can give it some time. Now, the Rhapsodorphia, I believe I'm pronouncing that right. This right here, as you could tell, here we got here. And we have some plants. That's the same plant right there, okay? So no, it's not supposed to fall from the wall, but I guess eventually it got tired of me waiting on it. I am gonna put another attachment there because the goal is to allow that plant to be able to grow all the way over there. All right, I had some comments in here. Let's read them out. Your boy Fizz, I had some peppers that didn't grow. I grew them too close to the bushes. Our bushes was taking on nutrition, sadly. I'm planning on buying some more. Okay, when you buy some, let me know. I believe if you play with the pH, you may get color difference. You know, I'm not going to experiment it in here with the plants today or for right now, but I do have hydrangeas outside, and I did buy the pH soil, and I did not play around with it. When I play around with it over the springtime and I build some confidence in it, I am going to try it here in the room, and we'll see what we can do with it. Because I do believe that you can. I mean, how do you think all these plants are created being hybrid? They're just combining two different genetics together and doing whatever to it. And that's why we get a whole lot of reverting sometimes in our plants, because they need certain things that we just don't know what to look out for. And I just wanted to show you all that section over there. It's a pain in the butt to get over there, but I'm telling you, it's probably one of the best sections that I have as far as my plants being completely healthy. And we talked about our miking yesterday. I actually had to give some water to this plant. And we was talking about how soil's a little bit different. As you could tell, both of these plants are philodendrons, okay? This right here is my Florida green. This right here is my mican. In the same family, but they grow completely different. Or I'm not gonna say they grow completely different, but they seem to do better in different types of soil. We have our green Florida green that likes this nice chunky airy mix. Then over here, we have our philodendron mican who likes to retain that moisture a little bit. So we're not gonna make it as airy, because if we do, the plant's gonna dry out. And if you don't catch a plant in time before it dries out, you can have some problems, like dying. Manny Fresh, you have a very nice collection of plants. Thank you very much. I really do appreciate that. I worked really hard to get this collection up. I've lost a lot of plants to get here. I'm very grateful to be able to have this space. I'm gonna turn this light on for you all. To have this space that I could just come and reflect. So over here, if you all have been following me, you understand this is my sick cabinet, but it doesn't look that sick anymore. I actually did another round of S&S 203 that I've been spraying the plant leaves with, that's been taking care of our mealy bugs. Now, let me see if I have some of the S&S. I'm gonna flip us back around, okay, guys? All right, we are on here. This right here is the stuff I've been using, okay? It works really good. You can take what's your favorite plant that you have? Ooh, right now, the Monstera Thai constellation. I'll say it. I'm not supposed to give a favor to a plant, because when other plants hear it, they start acting weird, they start dying off. But I'm gonna tell you, I mean, it's just, let me turn it. That one particular, I mean, come on, have you seen a plant that beautiful? I mean, the color, the creamish color, it's just absolutely beautiful. And yes, the 203, then you know about it. It was recommended to me by a friend on Instagram, and let me tell you, she was in her bag recommending this, because you can mix this in a spray bottle and spray your plant leaves, and you can also pour this into the soil. A lot more expensive than your typical this isn't really a good example, but it's a little bit more expensive than going to the store and buying something like this, which is gonna cost you between $8 to $10, okay? But you spend that extra money, you won't have to worry about dealing with a whole lot of pest problems in the future, because this gets in there and just take care of it. Now, if you're having a full pest breakout problem, the best thing I could tell you is repot that plant. I know we don't want to hear it, and I know we don't want to deal with it, but seriously, sometimes if you have just a full outbreak of pests, it's all in the soil. And the best thing to do is to go to the bathroom, get in a tub or get you something like a big bucket that you can dunk that plant in and basically drown that plant in water. Wipe those leaves down on the top, on the bottom, wipe the stems down, get all in those roots. That's why even if you can use your kitchen sink, that's even better, but be careful. You don't want soil going in your drains, messing up that. You don't want a $10 plant causing you $200, $300, $400 worth of plumbing problems, okay? You can get stuff like a tray. I know I personally use like just the sink stopper. I have a real fine grade one that will not let anything go through it, barely even water. That's something really safe to use. But get that plant with those mealy bugs or thrips or whatever it is, drown it. Them bugs are not going to be able to survive that water being drowned in there, okay? Do that for about, I would say 10 minutes with a little bit of solution in there. Wipe it all around, spray it all around, and you're going to be good to go. Do a repot on that plant. Make sure it doesn't have any soil or anything around. Expect your plant to yellow, curl. You may have to cut some of it back because you completely just took it out its comfortable habitat and stressed it out. But let me tell you something, the bugs was going to kill that plant anyway if you didn't get in there and do that. So what's the cost of 4 or 5 leaves or half the plant if you was going to lose all the plant if you did nothing, okay? All right, and right now I'm going to leave the floor open just for a little while. I have a lot of snails here. Ooh. I don't think snails are good for the plants though. Don't they crawl in there and eat it? And caterpillars? Well, I mean, I don't know how to say it, but unfortunately, since you do have stuff outside, it would be kind of cruel or a little mean for you to put something out there to take away the pets away. You know what I mean? And I'm pretty sure now, some pests, some of those little pets out there, they will tear up your garden. They eat it. Let me tell you, out of 20 peppers that I grew, I probably was able to get to 3 of them before. And I know everybody's been telling me to use this spray called 7 Killers that work pretty good, but I just don't know enough about it. And I'm like the most environmental friendly, not environmental friendly person you're gonna know. Like I just don't believe in chemicals going into the air because we completely breathe that. And especially like bugs and things like that. If you put chemicals down on the ground, like this, they're outside. How would I feel, you know, if somebody came into my house and just gave me something that could potentially kill me? It's like, what you doing? Like, why are you here? You know, so you just have to kind of be careful, but I'm pretty sure they have stuff out here that's environmental friendly that the pests would just smell and just go the other way, you know? I took most inside and I've been using bug killers, but I hate killing them. I feel sad. No, I completely agree with you, but I mean, at this point in time, they inside the house, they on your territory, you know? I think it's fair game. I took most plants inside. Oh! Completely. I grew a couple of plants outside over the summertime. One in particular is my philodendron Florida bronze. I believe I showed it to you all the other day. But, let's see here. This is a plant that had thrips earlier around springtime. And I said, you know what? I am not going to deal with this. Set this plant outside, take a look at it. Brought it back in and haven't had no problems since. So Mother Nature is his best cure for a lot of problems. I still treat it, threw it outside, I gave it over shade. I built a shade house. Now that's something I probably should have recorded, but I didn't know how the result was going to come out, so I didn't want to record something, show somebody how to do something, and turn around and kill everything. So now since I know it works, probably next year over the springtime, I'll show you what I did. I just had, where the porch was at, I just had another piece of wood that could stand right there, and I bought this black tarp for outside that you usually put on the grass if you get ready to put things like gravels and so forth, so that way weeds don't go through, but it still worked enough for the sunlight to be able to come through. So I just hung it, I started a part off at the top of the porch, and then I just laid it flat across and attached it to a plank, and it stood up, and it was kind of like just a shade that was over top of the plant. Oh my goodness, my monsteras, this plant, I had an English ivy, it all took off. It did so good. I didn't want to bring it in, but the temperatures gave me no other choice. If I left it outside, it was going to die. So yeah, outside, Mother Nature take care of it, bring it in, and I still gave it a treatment. When you bring plants in, still give it a treatment because sometimes something might be going on that you just don't see. Spray it down, wipe it down. Don't throw it in with your other plants. Still keep them isolated. If you brought a group of plants in from outside, just keep those bunched in together. For about 3 weeks. After 3 weeks, you'll be safe. All right, I just want to put this plant in a good section and make sure that it continues to get its light. All right, guys, well, I'm going to get ready to get off of here. I've enjoyed our conversation. Thank you so much for talking to me, not just standing here and I'm just talking to a screen. I hope you all have a wonderful day. If you're on your lunch break, knock out whatever it is you have to do. I don't know for sure if I'm going to hop on here tomorrow. Kids are out of school. So you know how that is. It's usually going to be loud and I may be screaming, talking like this the whole time, and who's going to do that? But anyway, you all take care. Leave a comment at the bottom if you have some stuff you want me to talk about next time we see each other. Take care.